A breast cancer survivor and mother of 3 in Georgia is on a mission. She is sharing her story in hopes of inspiring more black women to get involved in clinical trials. The Fox Medical Team's Beth Galvin explains why.
At 41, Frida Thomas is a survivor.
Almost 3 years. It will be 3 years, December 18th.
Months earlier, the Conyers mother of 3 who works for Delta Airlines had thought she'd felt a lump in her breast just as the pandemic was hitting.
I just stayed away from all offices, doctors, and everything.
Then the pain set in.
I started to have a shoulder pain, and it was crippling. It felt as if I was slept wrong or did something to it, but I hadn't.
Thomas was diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, an aggressive treatment-resistant subtype of breast cancer that disproportionately affects young black women. Hers was in her lymph nodes, and after interviewing 4 cancer doctors, Thomas says she found an oncologist she trusted with a pretty straightforward plan.
I had surgery, a lumpectomy, and they removed 26 lymph nodes.
Once she'd healed, she began radiation.
31 rounds of radiation.
The treatment worked. Thomas is cancer-free. But looking back, she says her doctor never mentioned clinical trials, and she never asked about them, even though she'd been part of a fibroid study before.
When you're having a diagnosis of breast cancer, it's your life. And so a lot of times things get, confusing at that time. You're stressed out. You're trying to figure out, what's next.
But Thomas says she would have been open to joining a research study and trying an experimental treatment.
Because I was comfortable with it already. So I know what clinical trials consist of. So I'd have been like, sure, sign me up.
But because of a dark history of medical abuse, Mema Karma, a 17-year negative breast cancer survivor and the founder of the nonprofit Tiger Lily Foundation, says many people of color don't trust medical research, and blacks make up less than 5% of patients in clinical trials.
We felt, how do you move past something and make what you're doing bigger than the bad things that happen?
To try to answer that question, this fall, the Tiger Lily Foundation launched the My Living Legacy educational campaign, in which survivors like Thomas are going out into black communities, sharing their stories, answering questions, and talking about the importance of being a part of research studies.
And at the end of the day, it's about you extending your life. I have friends of mine who have been in trials, and because of different trials, they've been able to have to extend their lives from 18 months to up to 20 years. That's the power of clinical trials.
Frida Thomas hopes she can inspire other women to talk to their doctors about clinical trials.
Ask all the questions that you can think of. And if you can't think of them at the moment, write them down and call them back and say, you know what, I have a few more questions. And that way you may feel more comfortable with your decision.
For your Fox Medical Team, I'm Beth Galvin.